TOEFL speaking samples. Which of the following functions of smartphones most beneficial to students? 1. Taking photos. 2. Listening to the music. 3. Recording lectures.
The latest generation of smartphones offer many applications that are useful to students. I personally think that the capacity for taking photos is the most useful. I believe this for two reasons. Firstly, the capacity to take a photo of an article or text directly from the web is incredibly useful. Imagine that you do not know the meaning of a word or a technical expression. The student just has to look it up and press the photo app, and you have then a clear image on your phone that you can later consult either to memorize or copy into a folder. Secondly, photos are very useful for students that encounter relevant material to their studies, and with the built-in camera they can instantly have an example stored on their phone. A good example of this is a biology student that encounters a genus of a flower and can keep a graphic record for later use. Although the ability to record lectures is very useful, I would opt for the built-in camera any day.
3 kinds of activities will be offered on a special day organized by the International Student Office. Which one do you prefer? 1. International Food Fair. 2. International Music Festival. 3. International Film Festival.
This is a very difficult choice for me, as I love films, music and food equally. However, I have attended a lecture on films and I found it very interesting, especially listening to people's analysis of the films shown. Music would be interesting if you really understood it from a technical point of view, which is not the case of everybody. Food is a very subjective subject and people's tastes differ very much. Films, however, are viewed and appreciated on many levels, and I think students would be obliged to give a valid point of view whether they liked the film or not. Films can be judged using many different criteria, and it's fascinating to hear what people saw in a film that you did not.
The university decides to remodel the dormitory and add a new space to it. Which space do you recommend to add to your dormitory? 1. Cafe. 2. Study room. 3. Game room.
I think all 3 elements would improve a dormitory, but as I have to opt for one, I would go for the cafe. The reason for this is that game rooms are not conducive to sleep or study, and I feel they would be disruptive. A study room is a good idea, but a library or the privacy of your own room with a good internet connection has made this option slightly passé. A cafe, however, is a great choice for 2 reasons. The first one being that this type of place fosters social activity and helps you meet your peers. An important element in university education is that of meeting people of your own level of intelligence and curiosity. The second is that a cafe gives you a chance to have a break from your studies without having to go too far.
The university wants to provide students with more types of entertainment, and 3 choices provided below. Which do you prefer and why? 1. A theater performance by the student actors. 2. A concert provided by professional musician. 3. A lecture from a professor.
Out of the 3 choices on offer, I would quickly discount the third one of a lecture by a university professor. In some languages, people use the word distraction instead of entertainment. Going to another lecture is not for me a distraction. Amateur dramatics are more generally fun for the participants than for the audience. I would therefore select a professional musician. Who knows, they may be a future megastar and you will be lucky enough to see them when they are starting out. I find that concerts performed by professional musicians are absorbing. It is also a good reference for a student to see someone who has a talent, and it gives them something to aim for. Personally, I find this option more of an entertainment than the other 2.
There is going to be a TV show that relates to students. Which show would you like to watch? 1. Interview school leaders. 2. Students debate on political and social topics. 3. Comedy about school life.
This is a very subjective question, and I can only say that I have seen comedies about students before and they were great. Let us have another one. I can remember Animal House with the late John Belushi, and I found it hilarious. More recently, I saw The In-Betweeners that looks at life at school just before going to university. I found the interaction between the young protagonists very entertaining. I feel that life on campus could be an excellent backdrop for a comedy, as could be that of a high school. The eccentricities of university professors and the life of young wild students have such great comic potential. I think with study it is important to cut off and relax, not go into it too deeply.
Which of the following technological developments has made the greatest impact on students' lives? 1. Electronic books. 2. Online classes. 3. Smartphones.
Beyond all shadow of a doubt, the smartphone. The reason I am so categoric is because the smartphone gives you instant access to the font of all knowledge that is the internet. Imagine being a student 40 years ago. There is something that you are not sure of, so you had to note it down and then take yourself off to the library. Today just tap your search query into the box and voila, the answer, or rather a plethora of different answers. Electronic books are great, but you can usually download and read the content on your smartphone. Online classes are the future of education, but it's a bit like having the cart before the horse. With your smartphone you can look at your online courses. One is a tool and the other two can be considered as APS.
If you are going to choose a position in the school community during summer vacation, which one will you choose? 1. Library desk front/receptionist. 2. Technician. 3. Paint a wall in a community. As I am not very technical or very good with my hands, I would choose to work in the library. I think it would be rather fun as I love reading and it would be good to meet other like-minded people.
I think it will help me relate to people as I am a bit shy, and constantly dealing with queries will go some way to stop this. I think as well it will give me the opportunity to discuss people's reading choices and maybe exchange viewpoints on books. Therefore, my reason for choosing to work as a receptionist at the library desk is to help hone my social skills and increase my knowledge of literature in general.
Which of the following choices do you think has the greatest impact on environmental protection? 1. Governmental regulations. 2. Environmental awareness groups. 3. Individual effort.
I think the first is, in a way, the government is responsible for creating public awareness of a problem and offering incentives or sanctions to make sure people follow through. Individual effort is usually the starting point for creating awareness, but there are not enough like-minded individuals to make a difference. Government regulations can be very effective if there is a real desire to implicate changes. The government can finance massive campaigns to heighten people's awareness, ranging from publicity slots on the TV to educating the young through concerted information programs. There are without doubt individuals who make an impact, but the majority of people only pay attention to imposed rules.